Welcome to Real Truth Real Quick. My name is Rick Smith. I'm here with my friend Todd Wagner.
Hey, what's up, Rick?
All right. Well, I got another good question for you today, and you got 5 minutes, so here we go. What is the biblical view on dinosaurs?
Well,
Are they in the Bible?
yeah.
I
Well, listen, let's go back. This is really interesting because dinosaurs, what are they? We didn't even know they were around until 1841 when I think Sir Alfred Owen coined the name Dinosaurus from the Greek, which means terrible lizard. That's all it is. It's just a big lizard. That's what a dinosaur is. And my Bible says that God created all animals on what? The fifth day. And so there we go. I think the Bible does talk about the fact that there were creatures that existed. Most dinosaurs, most of these things were not that big. The ones that were big are the ones that get all the attention. What a lot of people don't know, Rick, is that we don't find very much of the remains of these animals. In fact, I would say, I remember reading that as much as maybe 20% was the most we ever found of one of these skeletal structures. You find a leg bone, you find a few fragments of hip bone, and then some vertebrae, and we all of a sudden construct this massive animal, and we put big sharp teeth in it, and all of a sudden, because it's big sharp teeth, we think they were carnivores, which if you go back and read Genesis 1, in fact, we did a Real Truth Real Quick on are we all supposed to be vegetarians based on Genesis chapter 1. And we talk about dinosaurs briefly there. And I don't think those dinosaurs were carnivores. Okay? Now, that gets to the question, what happened to dinosaurs? And by the way, were dinosaurs on the ark?
I think so. I think they were. Two every animal.
Yeah.
That would certainly seem to be every part of every animal.
If they existed and God told every animal to be there, you would say yes.
Otherwise, we've got some serious other problems.
Yeah. And so, hey, listen, I'm not a genius, but if I was told, to put certain kind of animals on the ark, whether it be an elephant, okay, or a dinosaur, I wouldn't put a fully mature adult on there, okay? And if God brought the animals to the ark, I'm not sure he sent the largest, what we would know today as African elephant in the world. And I would bring a small elephant. I'm not a genius.
I'd bring a baby.
Okay? I'd bring a baby dinosaur. So what's really interesting, I'll tell you though, where they go. Okay, well, after the flood, a lot changed about the earth, including as the water began to recede. Initially, there wasn't much land. Okay, I think you could say, I don't know what percentage. At first, it was just mountain peaks that were around. So a lot of the world was covered still in water. Limited food supply, destruction of a lot of habitat. And then also in Genesis 9:3, we see that God says, now you can start to eat meat. And so I imagine that if you're looking for a food supply, you kill the largest food supply that you can kill. And who knows if you wouldn't kill some for fun. Okay, yeah. Right? I'd shoot the biggest one. Let's just say a lot of dinosaurs did survive and didn't get extinct because of a lack of food supply or loss of habitat. But it does make sense that the largest animals that need the most food would die first. It also makes sense that if they're going to be hunters, they're going to kill the biggest animals first.
Yeah.
Okay, so what really is interesting, there was a recent discovery, I think 2004, 2005, in Patagonia, Argentina. I love the name of this dinosaur. And what's so unique about this dinosaur, it's called Dreadnoughtus, which means fear not. Why do they call it that? Well, first of all, it was an amazing discovery because they found over 70% of this animal from the head down, which, again, if I told you, most dinosaur remains, I think that to that point, the largest they had found, maybe of a T-Rex, was like 20-some-odd%. And they built the rest of it. T-Rexes were 13 feet tall, roughly 40 feet long, maybe. Dreadnoughtus was like 65 tons. Okay, that's heavier than a 737. And they could really estimate the weight well because of the full skeletal structure that they found. About 70% of this animal. That weighs more than 12 African elephants, more than 7 T-Rexes. This thing was 2 stories high, 80 feet long. They say its tail alone was longer than a city bus. All this is amazing, and it's pretty interesting. What's even more amazing is what paleontologists say was the cause of the death of this Dreadnoughtus. They say it was, number one, it was a herbivore. It wasn't a carnivore. Number 2, it died, as massive as it was, because of a raging torrent or flood. And they found it in like quicksand or a sandy area, and it was largely preserved. That's what they found. That fits with the biblical record. So when you think dinosaurs, you can think Bible. You don't have to think millions of years. Okay? You just have to go, they're there. God created them. We don't need to fear them. I think maybe you'll see them in heaven, and because of all creation will be restored, but they won't eat you.
Yeah, they won't eat you. You know, it's funny. One of the you made the comment about we've only found 20%. I remember at one point I didn't know that, and we were at a museum. I think it was in New York, and I told my wife, "Man, how do they find this huge dinosaur in the sand?" She's like, "Rick, you know, there's only like 4 of those bones are from that dinosaur, and they made all the rest." I'm like, "No way!" So I'm googling it on my phone, and you're right. You go to the museum.
Yeah.
That's not what they found in the sand.
They find a skull and build a whole civilization. They clay out the face, and they listen. Believe in dinosaurs. That doesn't mean you have to believe in millions of years. Okay? I am a young Earth guy. That's another real truth, real quick. I'm not saying it's just a few thousand, but I think it's closer to a few thousand than it is millions of years. Dinosaurs and evolution don't go together. Dinosaurs and the biblical record do.
All right, well, be sure to check out Real Truth real quick. In the show notes, we're going to put lots of great resources for you if you want to continue to dig in, no pun intended. And there's a lifetime of resources for you to check out.
Yeah, man, here's what I would say. Dread nautis. That's the favorite words of Christ. Fear not. You don't need to worry when dinosaurs come up if you love your Bible, because they're there. And you don't need to worry if you have a relationship with the God of this Bible, because he's reconciled you to him. So dinosaurs in the Bible, check. Make sure you and Jesus check.
Good stuff. We'll see you next week on Real Truth real quick.